GBS.
A good evening. It is the 5th of September 2025 and you're just in time for GBS News at 9. I'm Ibrahim Said and our sign language interpreter tonight is Alan Kiama. Remember, as usual, every headline carries a story. Every story carries a truth and every truth carries a voice. We have a lot lined up for you and on to our very first story. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki is engaging Kenyan student and diaspora members in Algiers, Algeria, where he is holding discussions on education opportunities, national development, and diaspora welfare. Here is more on the story.
Challenges facing Algerian students here are many.
During the meeting, Professor Kindiki interacted with students pursuing various academic programs in Algerian institutions, listening to their experiences and challenges. He also encouraged them to focus on academic excellence while building networks that could benefit Kenya's future development. The CS further met Kenyans living and working in Algiers, where he emphasized the government's commitment to supporting its citizens abroad. Attendees shared their perspective on opportunities available in Algeria and raised issues relating to consular services.
I want to encourage you and tell you that we are very proud of you. As my colleagues have said, we've never had the 112 of you here. We haven't had any incidents, and that means you're keeping yourself together and you're focusing on what brought you here. When you get your qualifications, it's up to you to decide where to work. Because as a young person, you have options. You can come home, and home is always the best. But if you find work elsewhere also, we encourage you to work because you're still young and flexible. You are not restricted like the older folks would be restricted. Back at home, we are trying to create enough opportunities for young people. And for the first time, we have a very deliberate program to support young people. The reforms that we have done in the last 3 years in the education system back at home are deliberately targeting preparing young people for better career outcomes.
The engagement was part of Kindiki's official visit to Algeria, where he held talks with senior government officials to strengthen bilateral relations between Nairobi and Algiers. The discussions focused on security cooperation, trade opportunities, and educational exchange programs, reflecting growing ties between the two nations.
Listening to the president of Algeria yesterday, is a very strong Pan-Africanist. He believes in Africa, and he is very deliberate in terms of engagement. We had occasion to have a bilateral event, meeting with him yesterday, with some of my brothers here in the delegation. And Algeria is keen to opening up more to Kenya and other African countries in trade. And going forward, we're going to firm up our relations in a meeting to be held in Nairobi in November so that we can start exporting.
Kindiki affirmed that the government will scale up diaspora engagement forums ensuring Kenyans abroad are better supported, while also working to expand bilateral cooperation with Algeria in education, security, and trade. Molin Rono for GBS News.
Despite all these problems, we want
That is Deputy President Kithure Kindiki in Algeria. Now, Kenya's former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has compared his impeachment to that of Donald Trump, claiming it was an act of political persecution for his Christian faith. Gachagua was impeached on October 2024 following a political fallout with President William Ruto, who has stated that he is now in the right position to take over Kenya's leadership as the 6th president.
Call a press conference as deputy president and disagree with the president in public, and he decided that we couldn't stay together.
In a September 2025 interview with one of the international media house, the former deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, compared his impeachment to Trump's. He stated that both faced retribution of their beliefs.
This is the same thing that happened to Donald Trump. He was impeached because of what he believes in, because of his principles, because of doing what is right for the American people. I stand for what is right, and I would not have agreed to be part of government that is killing young people for whatever reason, because it's against the Ten Commandments, it's against my Christian beliefs. It is wrong.
Gachagua stated that he was impeached because of what he believes in and because of his principles. He also claimed that his impeachment was a religious persecution.
Well, the Kenyan people have put a lot of pressure on me because they are looking for somebody who is truthful, somebody who has integrity, and Kenyans, 82% are Christians.
He was removed from the office on October 17, 2024, after being impeached by the National Assembly and the Senate on 5 counts, including gross violation of the Constitution and inciting ethnic tensions. He denied all the 11 charges, calling them politically motivated.
When you are practicing Christian, undoubtedly you become a very good leader, especially if you are true to the Christian values. Our Christian faith, is very clear on family values. And to build a strong nation, you need to build strong families.
Analysts say a political fallout with President William Ruto caused Gachagua's impeachment. Relations worsened after Gachagua publicly opposed government policies and accused state officials of underhanded practices.
We have a dysfunctional National Intelligence Service that has exposed the president, the government, and the people of Kenya. Had the National Intelligence Service briefed the president 2 months ago about how the people of Kenya feel about the Finance Bill 2024, so many Kenyans would not have died. Property would not have been destroyed. Offices would not have been touched. There would have been no mayhem. But they slept on the job. It had to take people to die, property to be destroyed, protests across the country for the president to know the truth of what the people of Kenya feel. Yet, there is an organization paid for by the public to brief the president and the government about the feeling of the Kenyan people.
This followed nationwide protests over tax hike, which exposed division within the ruling party. During the Senate trial, Gachagua's lawyer said he was hospitalized with chest pain. Despite protests from his legal team, the Senate voted to proceed with the impeachment, which critics cited as a proof of political bias.
After listening to the DP threatening that Parliament and the court should know that it's not easy to remove a deputy president who had 7.2 million votes. Mr. Speaker, after treating Kenyans as fools by trying to mislead on the intent and purpose of his utterances, on the idea of government being a company, it was easy for me to make a decision to cast my lot with impeachment of the deputy president.
Kithure Kindiki was appointed as the new deputy president. The Kenyan court system initially blocked the immediate nomination of the successor, but later cleared the way for Kindiki to be sworn in as the deputy president on November 1st, 2024.
I, Kithure Kindiki, in full realization of the high calling I assume as Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, do swear that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya
and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya.
Kenya's former second-in-command is now a top government critic, exposing inhuman activities done by the Kenya Kwanza government.
You cannot endanger the security of the world because of your business interest. It is true you are doing business with Al-Shabaab, but you cannot endanger world security. Don't have sanctions against the people of Kenya or our country. Please, just do the right thing. Impose sanctions on William Ruto as a person. The opposition has been captured and all these institutions of oversight have been compromised, coupled with the violation of human rights, making sure that there is nobody who can hold the president to account.
Will he manage to take over the country's leadership in the 2027 general elections? Time will tell. Davis Karani for GBS News, Nairobi.
A special report from our very own Davis Karani. Now, Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti warns that devolution is at risk under the current national government. Speaking in Yatta, the governor, along with the opposition leader led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, emphasized that governors will not accept imposed decision without dialogue. Paul M. Minor with the details.
At a rally in Yatta, Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti voiced strong concern that devolution, a cornerstone of Kenya's 2010 constitution, is at risk.
Devolution is under threat. Muliona chairman wangu wa Council of Governors akiongea. The two governments are distinct. Kuna national government, kuna county governments. Na hakuna kitu kibaya kama sisi ni magavana. Tuna lead counties zetu. Tunaambiwa whether you like it or not, we are going to do it. Life is not like that.
Governor Ndeti, addressing residents alongside opposition leaders led by Kalonzo Musyoka, said governors are increasingly sidelining in critical decision-making processes.
Hii dunia ni watu kuongea na kusemezana. You cannot force things down the throat of people, not even your own children.
The governor's sentiments echoed growing disquiet among members of the Council of Governors, who have the recent months accused the national government of undermining devolution through unilateral policies and budgetary constraints.
I can say we are not happy as the Council of Governors. And we are going to come out very clearly now. We will talk. Hatutakubali kusukumiwa vitu. Tunaambiwa wanajaribu kusema corruption. Sasa wametoa corruption kwa national government. Now governors ndio wanasukumiwa corruption. Governors ni corrupt. Governors ni corrupt. Wakenya, sincerely speaking, it is high time we woke up and just spoke the truth and tell the president vile mambo iko. Na akikataa, waamuzi ni nyinyi. Tunaelewana? Akikataa waamuzi ni kina nani?
Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Minor.
Now, shifting gears is that in Somaliland, a major rescue operation has brought hope amid a growing crisis. 10 cheetah cubs stolen from wild and bound for the illegal pet trade have been saved from captivity, malnourished and traumatized. They are now beginning a long road to recovery as demand for exotic animal rises. Conservationists warn that this is just one glimpse into much larger battle.
10 cheetah cubs captured for the illegal wildlife trade have been rescued in Somaliland's Salali district. Malnourished and limping from being tied up for months, the cubs were found during a police raid. 2 people were arrested and the animals are now under the care of the Cheetah Conservation Fund.
We express our deep gratitude to the police for their efforts in safeguarding these 10 cheetahs that were destined for unlawful trade. The ministry is currently caring for 109 cheetahs which were intercepted while en route to being trafficked outside the country. We encourage the people of Somaliland to protect wildlife in their natural habitats as their best interests lie there. We also request that the police expedite their investigation to take further measures against any other individuals linked to this incident.
The cubs are in fragile condition. One 5-month-old cub was covered in sores and infested with maggots. Experts are reintroducing food slowly to avoid refeeding syndrome, a dangerous condition in starving animals. Many are also suffering from the trauma of being separated from their mothers. Somaliland has become a major transit point for traffickers moving cheetahs to Gulf countries, where demand for exotic pets is rising. Conservationists warn this illegal trade is devastating local wildlife and ecosystems. Officials are now urging the public to protect animals in the forest where they belong. Elvis Muyodi, GBS News.
In a more sad story, grief and silence fill the ruins of Tarasin, a village in Sudan's Darfur region, after a massive landslide buried the community beneath tons of earth. So far, 375 bodies have been recovered, but the Sudan Liberation Movement fears the toll could rise up to 1,000. The landslide hit the remote Mara Mountain, a rare refuge known for its cooler climate and rain. Now it's a disaster zone, largely cut off due to fighting between Sudan's military and the Rapid Support Forces, making rescue and aid efforts nearly impossible. With Sudan already 2 years into brutal civil war, this natural disaster has deepened country's suffering, leaving an already devastated region grasping for relief amid unimaginable loss. With that, we'll be taking a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platform at GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be right back.
Where does today come before yesterday? Kumbuka majibu fupi pale kwa SMS line at 21144.
Art should be a mirror. It should mirror things that people are going through, both the ones that are spoken and the unspoken.
What's the difference between film and theater?
Film and theater.
If you had to write an entire story without either action or dialogue, which will you choose?
Wacheni could treat film and theater kama entertainment. Yeah. So film and theater is a very strong tool.
How do you think art is related to film and theater?
So today we're diving into a topic that has become rather popular right here in Kenya, the K-pop culture.
I would say K-pop invokes creativity, like mega creativity. I have friends who are creative and you'll see you've done that and they're like, yeah.
An ex told me that K-pop girls, K-pop stan girls, it was like the men you stan look like women and you aim to get a man that looks like that. So if you fail to find a man like that, because obviously you're in Kenya, you're not going to find a pretty man.
For me, it's like I have two personalities at this point. I have my normal life and I have my army life. Because when I get into my army life, it's just like a whole new world. A community full of people who don't judge, people who accept you.
Learning Korean from a Kenyan can sometimes mess you up because they pronounce words differently, and when you speak to a native, it's like, hold up, what did you say?
I've never met like a K-pop fan. I don't know why. What am I? No, not when people want to like express themselves like I'm a K-pop fan. Unless you see them like wearing like a branded t-shirt or a branded hoodie, you realize that they're K-pop fans.
The main campaign of BTS is loving yourself, right? And K-pop has a lot of drawbacks. Just like anything else, too much of something is poisonous, yeah? And one of the drawbacks is it comes with beauty because they have these absurd beauty standards. While BTS passed this message that you're supposed to love yourself, embrace yourself, you're just perfect the way you are. You don't have to eat less to be beautiful. You're beautiful from the inside, right? Get into BTS, it's hard to come out.
Okay.
The boy was growing normal because the normal is what we should get back into. What is happening now is the abnormal.
And that is not happening today, because there is a place for fatherhood that is lacking in our day. Maybe that's
Wow. My name is Dr. Peter Mureithi Elisha, PM. Walk the talk, mentors, and you parents. How do you explain to your daughter who finds that you bring a man to the house when their father is not there? How will she behave?
Monkey do.
Yes. Today in our nation, the girl is quite empowered. Even if you go around and watch around, you will hear Girl Child Empowerment Project.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap year. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun. Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it locked here at GBS News at 9. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo has declared a new Ebola outbreak in Kasai province, marking its 16th since the virus was first detected in the country. Health officials say that 15 people have died and nearly 30 suspected cases have been reported, prompting a swift response from African CDC and the Ministry of Health. The Democratic Republic of Congo has declared its 16th outbreak of Ebola virus disease. Confirmed in Kasai province, the index case involves a 34-year-old pregnant woman who was admitted to hospital last month with symptoms including high fever and repeated vomiting. Since then, 15 deaths have been reported and 28 suspected cases identified across Bulape and Mweka health zones.
I officially announce on behalf of the Ministry of Public Health the resurgence of Ebola.
Following the outbreak declaration, African CDC immediately engaged with the DRC Ministry of Health. Director General Dr. Jean Kaseya traveled to the country to coordinate response effort. Emergency teams have been deployed to support surveillance, contact tracing, laboratory testing, and infection prevention and control.
This represents the 16th outbreak of the Ebola virus recorded in our country. Fortunately for the Zaire strain, we have a vaccine, but to deploy it, we must ensure that all the logistics are in place, because it is a vaccine that requires certain conditions.
Health officials warn that additional cases may emerge as investigation continues. The Ivabo vaccine, which is effective against the Zaire strain, is available and pre-positioned in Kinshasa. Authorities are prioritizing rapid containment and community engagement to prevent further spread. With the previous experience managing Ebola outbreaks, the DRC is moving swiftly to contain the virus and protect vulnerable population. GBS News. In Afghanistan, families are grieving and struggling to rebuild after a devastating earthquake struck the country's east. Aid agencies say children are among the most affected.
A powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan late on August 31st, with its epicenter northeast of Jalalabad in Nangarhar province. Entire villages across Nangarhar and Kunar have been flattened. In Dara-e-Nur Sultan village, families mourn children and loved ones lost. Homes lie in ruins, forcing survivors into makeshift shelters. In Kunar province, villagers dig through debris in search of survivors. Displaced families sit under tents, staring hopelessly at the rubble that once was home. UNICEF teams are already on the ground, working with local partners and UN agency to deliver urgent relief. That is shelter, clean water, medical care, and psychological support for children. But the earthquake has hit Afghanistan at a time of overlapping crises: drought, deadly floods, poverty, and the return of millions of refugees.
Afghanistan is experiencing several overlapping crises at the moment. Droughts, return of millions returnees, refugees from Iran and Pakistan, deadly floods, and now we have earthquake.
UNDP officials visiting the worst-hit communities warn of an acute need for new shelters and rebuilding. With winter approaching in the mountains, the race to provide safe housing is urgent.
UNDP will come back here with early recovery, and we will try to restore the normal way of life here as much as it's possible under these circumstances. There's an acute need for new shelters, reconstruction of the buildings.
For survivors like Reza Khan, who lost a brother, and Amir Rahman, who works side by side with his 11-year-old son to clear debris, recovery is a daunting task. Children, many displaced and some injured, face another layer of hardship in a country already scarred by decades of conflict and instability. Susan Nganga, GBS News, Afghanistan.
Indeed, a devastating news. Flood victims in Delhi are longing to return home as swollen riverbanks and stagnant waters continue to displace hundreds of families. Many residents forced into temporary shelters say the conditions are becoming unbearable, with limited access to food, clean water, and medical services. Authorities reported that while rescue and relief operations helped avert further casualties, large sections of neighborhoods remain submerged, leaving homes unsafe to occupy. The government has deployed engineers to assess structural damage, while health officials warn of possible disease outbreak in floodwater persist. For now, many of the displaced can only wait for waters to recede, hoping to salvage what is left of their homes and rebuild their lives.
We don't have much food. We don't have any work. We're not able to get and prepare the food that we want to. We have a shortage of food. There is no work.
It rained with a lot of intensity the day before yesterday. It got worse yesterday during the day and then night. This year, the flood situation is much worse than previous years.
The Israeli military's indiscriminate bombing of Gaza City is reducing entire neighborhood to rubble, forcing residents to flee in panic with nowhere safe to escape. The enclave has now endured relentless bombardment for 23 months. Israeli continues assault on what UNICEF describes as city of fear persist. On Thursday, an airstrike hit a tent in the Tal Al-Hawa neighborhood, wiping out an entire family of 5, including 3 children.
Under the helm of Israeli drones, Palestinians inspect what is left after the strike on tents, housing displaced families in Gaza City's Tal Hawa neighborhoods. Among the rubble, what is left of the Israeli drones used in the attack. Total destruction after an onslaught from the air.
We woke up to a strike and screaming. I felt as if it was raining on our tent. I turned on a flashlight and couldn't see the tent.
Several children were killed here, including Maha's son and daughter.
I checked on my son and I found him lying on his back with blood running down from his nose and bleeding from the back of his head. I started screaming and my brother came and took him from me. Then I went back to check on my second, my daughter Noor, and found that she was drenched in blood from her head to her feet.
Death is inescapable here, and for many, the only way out is to flee. Israel's policy of forced displacement is never ending, particularly in the north of the Strip. Recent satellite images show tents have disappeared from a neighborhood in Gaza City. The Israeli military issued forced evacuation threats for these areas in a push to seize control. Palestinians are also fleeing from Jabalia, that's just a few kilometers away. Images captured a month apart show a significant reduction in the tent population. Israel is forcibly moving Palestinians south to areas Dalbala, but they are crowded with thousands of other displaced families. And when they get to central Gaza, there is no guarantee of safety. On Thursday, entire makeshift tents were destroyed by Israeli attacks in Al-Nusrat.
At around 4 in the morning, they bombed the area where we live. My nephew, his wife, and their 2 children were killed. The entire tent was destroyed, along with everyone inside.
They starve us, deprive us of water, displace us, and kill our children, all while the world is watching.
No matter where Palestinians go, Israel continues its indiscriminate targeting of innocent civilians. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul Ehmine.
It is time for your most favorite segment of the show, the Sporty. Let's get sporty. Kenya's under-16 women's basketball team has emerged victorious against Morocco in a tightly contested match that kept fans on edge until the final whistle. The Kenyan side displayed remarkable teamwork, speed and precision, dominating key moments of the game to secure a well-deserved win. Players were praised for their resilience, particularly in the closing stage where they pulled away from the North African opponents. Morocco mounted a spirited comeback in the third quarter, narrowing the gap, but Kenyan resilience and tactical discipline proved decisive in the final minutes. The young players held their ground, sealing the win to the delight of fans and officials. The victory not only boosts Kenya's chance in the tournament, but also signals the rising talent among the country's young women in sport. Supporters and officials alike are now rallying behind the team, with hopes of maintaining this winning momentum in upcoming features. Thousands of fans packed the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, as Harambee Stars faced off against Gambia in a crucial World Cup qualifiers. The match, held under tight security and amid traffic disruption across Nairobi, drew intense anticipation from supporters hoping for a turnaround in Kenya's campaign. But the visitors silenced the home crowd early, netting 3 goals in the first half through Sheriff Shinyan, Yankuba Minte and Musa Boro. Kenya struggled to respond with a missed chance and defensive lapse proving costly. A late goal from Ryan Ogam offered brief consolation, but the damage had already been done. The 3-1 defeat leaves Kenya with just 6 points in Group F, effectively ending hopes of qualifying for 2026 FIFA World Cup. Harambee Stars will return to Kasarani next week to face off Seychelles, aiming to restore pride in their remaining fixtures. And with that, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It's always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Said Ibrahim, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Alan Kiama. Before we leave, as usual, we have a proverb for you where it says, "Not every match ends in cheers, but every loss makes a purpose clear." Have a good night.